Hey there, and welcome to my lightning talk, animations from first principles in 5 minutes. Sadly, the original audio for this lightning talk was lost, and so I will be narrating over it. Now, in this short talk, my objective is to walk you through some Python and pygame code that will let you build simple animations. And we're going to be using pygame, which is what the module that we will use to actually draw on the screen and to make things visible to us. So I start off by defining two RGB colors, and then this screen here, this is going to be the canvas where we will be drawing. So I'm creating a canvas that's a square canvas, 400 by 400 pixels, sorry, and then I create an infinite loop in which we tell pygame to update the screen. Now I fill the screen with black, and if I run this we should see a black screen, except that we see a white screen because I was silly and I swapped the two colors. So black is actually 000 and white is 255, 255, 255. So we saw a black screen, and now what we will do is we will draw a circle on the screen. And now the thing that I want you to think of is what the progress there means is, if you actually look at my hand now on the recording, it's a small recording, but if you see my hands going around, because it's drawing a circle, right? And so the parameter progress is supposed to represent the point of the circle that I'm at. So if progress is 0, it's because I just started drawing, so my pen is at the beginning. If my progress is 0.5, say, then you're supposed to think of the point that's at the half point mark of the circle. So it's going to be after me drawing half a circle. And if my progress is at 1, then that means that I drew all of the circle, and so my pen is at the beginning again. And so with a little bit of trigonometry, I can return a position of a point given some progress. So that's the idea of the progress. It's supposed to represent the pen over the drawing. And now what I'm doing is I'm drawing the circle by actually taking a bunch of different points. So I'm going to sample lots of points from the circle, and if I draw the points close enough, then it's going to look like a circle, even though the only thing I drew was a lot of points. And so this might be confusing because in line 19 I'm doing pygame.draw.circle, but this pygame.draw.circle, you can think of it as actually a pygame.draw.point, because I'm setting the radius to 1, so it's going to be a very small circle, which really is just a point from the practical point of view. And then on line 22, I'm using the loop to represent the progress in drawing. Now what I want to do is I want to animate this, so I need to set a duration for the animation, the frame rate, and if I have the duration and the frame rate, I can compute the total number of frames. Now we create a small variable, an auxiliary variable to keep track of the current frame, and we create a clock, which is Pygame's way of keeping track of the frame rate. Otherwise, the computer will go as fast as it can, and if your computer is fast enough, it's going to be faster than the 60 frames per second. Now, we take the loop that was drawing the circle and we put it inside the infinite while loop. And now, instead of drawing the whole circle, what we're going to do is, for each iteration of the while loop, so the outer loop, we're going to draw just a part of the circle. And so the progress here is going to be defined as a ratio between the two frames, plus a small contribution inside this loop. And this will let us animate the actual drawing of the circle. So we increment the number of frames, the current frame, so that we know which frame we're on. And now we are going to change the condition of the loop so that we stop after we're done drawing. And so we can see that the circle is being drawn and animated. Now, what's really important here, and the reason why we drew the circle point by point, is that the function circle isn't special, right? If you create some other function that also accepts a progress and returns some other position, you can animate that drawing instead of the circle. And in this case, I'm creating a function that's going to return positions for a figure 8. And so if I replace the circle with the8, we will draw a figure 8 instead. So this is to show you that there's really nothing special about the circle or the 8. So if you write another function, you can draw something else. Now what we're doing here is we're going to morph the circle into the progress. Sorry, not into the progress, into the figure 8. And to do that, we're going to write this function called morph, which takes two figures, a progress, which represents the position of the pen on the drawing, and an alpha, which is going to be the parameter that's going to control the actual morphing from one figure to the other. And in order to morph things, what we start by doing is we compute the point on each figure, and now we morph one point into the other. And in mathematical terms, what we're doing is just we're doing some linear interpolation. But the intuitive explanation is we're going to kind of blend one point into the other. And we do this for the x axis and for the y axis. And so we can replace the 8 with the actual morph function. And we're going to morph the circle into the figure 8. And the progress is a parameter that we need to compute, and so is alpha. And now alpha, the blending between the two images, is going to be set by the ratio of the frames. So as the animation progresses, the alpha increases, and now the progress itself, which represents just the actual movement of the pen to draw either the circle or the figure 8, that's going to be inside our loop. And so if we run this, we should see a circle morph into the figure 8. Except I just need to clear the screen in between frames, otherwise the animation is going to look interesting. And so as we can see, we morphed the circle into the figure 8. So that was essentially it. I'm running out of time now. So I just want to let you know that there's a written version of this lightning talk available at this QR code or my blog, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.